Welcome back to Carbon Racing Series Season 4. We're here at France. I said by mistake on my YouTube channel that it's actually, it's here at France. I said by mistake we were going to Baku. My mistake. But oh well. Circuit Paul Ricard, one of the most dazzling racetracks, and according to some, it's quite sickening as well to look at. Not from this view, however. 3 sectors, obviously. 2 DRS zones, speed trap on the right, in the middle of what would be the Mistral Straight once upon a time, which means there are 15 turns on this track. Looking at the start of the race here in Season 3, it was rather chaotic. One car going onto the runoff zone, another car going round in a round and round. Further on into the race, on lap 4, Dan Edwin, driving for Red Bull, lost 2 positions in the space of 3 corners. Didn't have the answer to Wookie or Leonard. Later on in that same race, we had Bradley making contact with Faco, still on the dry tyres, and that ended Faco's race. But it didn't stop him from winning the championship. Nevertheless, it could have changed things in the end. Once again, 3 compounded tyres, white for hards, yellow for mediums, and red for softs. Don't know what the weather's going to be like though. We might not see any of those tyres. Have a brief look at the standings. Kane leads the championship on 62 points. He is 19 points ahead of his Red Bull teammate Ivan Halfterkamp, who finished P3 in the championship last season. Leonard is only a few points behind him at only 5 points. And it's currently Red Bull who are leading the Constructors' Championship with a hefty lead of about 38 points, that is. 105 points for Red Bull. They've gone rather unchallenged for the most part. It's been a rather chaotic beginning of the season, and that may not change as we move into the French round of Season 4. And this time I think I have remembered to turn on the desktop audio, which was something I didn't realise for the entirety of... Oh, hang on, it's gone straight back to the CRS logo. Is that better? Turn off the image, there we go. And it is a wet season, people are driving already. That's strange. SBG is already on track. And it's a wet qualifying, so... Only 15 drivers taking part, by the looks of things. Well, we've not had the best turnout. We've actually lost a few of our full-time drivers. So that is unfortunate. Maybe I've just joined late, I don't know. That's possible. Which would explain why we're following SBG here, the first man out on track in the AlphaTauri. Full wet tyres. Going around. Oh, he's going wide there, but it doesn't matter. After all, he is it is just the outlap. Yeah. Behind him is, well, coming through Seine right now. I can't remember the names of these turns. I really ought to remember the turns before I go into the race weekend, or, well, the race night. You've got Rob, who is clearly the world's greatest driver, and I say that with the thickest amount of sarcasm. And Aiden is just about to start his lap as well. He's got a Mercedes that's going to stay out of the way. Ooh, but a bit close. Who else is out? We've got Leonard, who's still in the pits. There's also the McLaren of Mock Crane. He's in the McLaren. I don't remember him being in the McLaren. Maybe I'm just misremembering things. And it looks like that Kane has been unable to take part tonight as Ivan spins around. So Kane has been replaced by Gwyn Sander, a reserve driver. So that allows Ivan the chance to catch up a little bit. But the race victory could well go to someone else tonight. SBG coming around the turn 12. It showed me the graphic earlier and I just don't remember. 14, 15, 13. This is turn 12, isn't it? Yeah. So this is turn 12 we're going through. Now 13. I think there are some people actually out on... Yes, there's a couple of people out on intermediate tyres. Will that pay off, though? SBG, obviously, on the full wets. Getting a bit squirrely on the exit. Didn't look too comfortable. 1:44.629 is the benchmark. Aiden will come across the line next. Crosses the line now, and it's down by about 4 tenths. Rob will be next. Where's he going to be? Actually goes fastest. 1:42.6. But I doubt he's going to be able to keep that. As we got the Haas of reserve driver Jari Fitz replacing someone. I can never remember anything. Jari now goes fastest, which could mean that the track is getting a bit drier. Who's next? We got Dan Edwin in the Ferrari. He goes... Ooh, Jari, what's going on? Had a few people going across the line at the same time. Faco goes... Now Pookie's gone fastest by 2 tenths over Jari Fitz, who's faster than Faco by about 4 tenths, who's faster than Ivan by about 8 tenths. Dan Edwin has not had a particularly great lap. He's 2 thousandths behind Rob. Who's next is going to be Ryan Kennedy, another reserve driver, I believe. Comes across the line in the Alpine, only 8th fastest. Next up, across the line, it's not going to be Lennox. He will be first across the line, but he's on his out lap at the minute. Hyper, though, is on his flying lap, and that 56-second Sector 2 looked pretty nice as Mokreen gets disqualified. He's obviously gone round somewhere, and the game's decided that's not allowed. It's really irritating when it does, isn't it? You get spun round, and then you have to go the wrong way to get back onto the track, and then it disqualifies you for going the wrong way to get back on the track. So Mokreen is knocked out because of stupid reasons, as Hyper has gone slightly slower than his teammate Pookie. Oh, that was a bit wobbly for the Alfa Romeo there. That's not a particularly nice, nice turn there, especially at speed in wet conditions. Ben Dixon, he's also on the intermediate tyres. Aiden is going to try his luck on the inters, but he's not come out of the pits yet. Gwyn Sander has set his lap on inters. He's actually gone 3.5 tenths faster in Sector 1 as he heads down towards the chicane, the name of which I can't remember. You know what? I have a phone right next to me that I can briefly look at what the turn names of Paul Ricard are. It requires me to look away briefly. Paul Ricard. As Pookie is retired, he's happy with that lap, which may be... Is he happy, though? Ooh. Nearly lost control. Nearly lost the control. Yeah, Pookie is in the pits, so he's happy with that lap. So, either that's premature, or the conditions are not going to improve. We'll have to see. And that was my catchphrase in the WR stream I did a week or two ago now. Mistral Straight is what that's typically called, as Jari Fitz has gone fastest, 140.7, but that's on the wet tyres. So, are the Inters even the best choice to go? No, it's not worked out for Ben Dixon. He's only done a 142.3. Leonard, meanwhile, has done 1,000th short of a 144. I don't recall him being that great in the wet, if I'm honest. Let me just look up the French Grand Prix, actually. Oh, shush. Shush, phone. There we go. Put you on vibrate. Maybe the track map there will tell me what the names are. There we go. So yes, turn 11 is the long sweeping right-hander where I think that's Dirk going slowly. Yes, he's had a spin coming off of, what is that turn called? Signes, I think. Signes, it's French, so it's not Signes. It's Signes or something. Meanwhile, Gwyn Sander has gone a second faster than his previous best in Sector 2, and he does go fastest by 0.2 as Jari Fitz goes even faster. 139.8, he's still on the wet tyres. So it's kind of a crossover point, maybe. The wet tyres are evidently still fairly fast, but the Inters are on the same sort of pace. Feiko also on the wet tyres. I wonder if he's been inspired by Jari Fitz. What will his Sector 2 time be? It might not be great. Actually, no, he is 0.7 up, so it does appear to be getting drier out there. We've got a yellow flag. That's a Red Bull. And it's because Gwyn Sander is going off the track. I'm not certain why. Leonard, outlap. Feiko will be next across the line as he comes through turn 13 and into 14. And into the final corner. On to the start finish straight. Red lights blinking. I don't see any spray, but maybe that's because I'm a spectator. I don't know. Across the line, and he goes second fastest, but he's still 0.4 off of Fitz. Next across the line is going to be Aiden. He's gone into the Inters, but he's not having a great lap. And he's invalidated anyway, so it won't matter. Gwyn Sander is coming in, as is Ivan. Next, it's going to be Ben Dixon. I've not seen what his sector times were. Almost invalidated there. Everyone's going to the inside there, maybe trying to keep the tyres cool. And he does go slightly slower on this lap. Both Ferraris were on cool-down laps. Ryan Kennedy has retired. Maybe he's used up all of his tyres already. SBG on the Inters has gone 1.7 seconds faster, so it could be that the Inters are the best tyres to use. It's just that a fast enough driver hasn't used them yet. Maybe keeping them for a later session. SPG did improve, 141.2, only P8 though. We got a yellow in Sector 1, that's, I think, SPG. It's just going slowly. And Faco, 3/10 up. He's gone fastest now. 1:39.5, and he's still on the wet tyres. Bit of an odd one, I've got to say. Maybe the wets are faster, maybe it's the inters. I'm not entirely certain. But Pookie did one lap on them, and he decided that was it. Both the Ferraris are on wet tyres, but it hasn't worked out for Dirk. He's invalidated, and for Dan Edwin, I don't know what his time was in Sector 2. We'll catch a glimpse as he crosses the line. Heads down the main straight now. Across the line, he does improve to third place. I tried to say 3 and 3rd at the same time, so threed or something. Leonard goes fastest now. He's on the inters. Oh, and Dan Edwin goes round. Caught out by a turn 2 there. And I think that's got to be proof that the inters are the better tyre here. It's just still a bit of a crossover period, and more people are taking them. Rob's going for another attempt. He hasn't set another lap since his initial one on the wets. Crosses the line to start his flying lap now. There's a Mercedes behind that can only be Hyper. And Rob has already invalidated his race. Not race, his lap. Has Hyper done the same? He did go fairly wide, but he hasn't. Yep, Hyper, as you might remember, robbed of a race victory, of a potential race victory anyway, at Imola, after a very strange incident where his car just sort of acted like it was on ice. Going down the Mistral straight now, towards the chicane, whose name I can't remember. Don't worry, I've got a phone. I just gotta input my password again. And I input it incorrectly because the last figure didn't go in. Oh, Pookie didn't look too happy there. It looked like it was gonna go around for a second. Ah, the chicane is called Montreal. Okay. Through Senior now. Nicely planted. Didn't sound like he let off as Leonard improves his time. Bousseau. Then into Bendor. I'm just gonna call it 12. Bendor sounds like almost like a Star Wars planet. And into turn 15, onto the final straight, as the car doesn't look the happiest around here. But he goes fastest by about 2/10 actually. Yeah, roughly 2/10. So Faco has also improved again. He's actually overtaken Leonard, but Faco is remarkably still running on the wets. Maybe he's worn them down so much that they're basically inters now. Next across the line is going to be Dirk, but he's invalidated again. So it will be Ben Dixon, but he's invalidated as well. So Ivan, he hasn't invalidated. He's still on the wets. It's 2 minutes of the session left, so there's not really enough time for him to go back into the pits and slap on some fresh inters. And he has improved to P5. And actually, I just remembered something. Because it's Q1 and there's only 15 drivers, all anyone had to do was set a single lap, and that was it. So, yeah. Just needed to set a banker. I completely forgot about that. Well, maybe not completely, but yeah, I didn't remember it at the right time. That's some funky stuff going on with the fence back there. Ah, it's because Rob is bouncing up and down. It's vibrating. I don't think you're allowed to put hydraulics in your F1 car. I know it's a lowrider, but it's not that kind of lowrider. Ooh. Still, a couple of drivers going to try and improve their times, I guess for the heck of it. Dirk still on the wets. What's his Sector 2 time like? I don't know. Because Sector 2 ends just after the chicane. Oh, Faco's on inters. Okay, so that's a tyre bug then. Everyone's on inters. That's great. Okay. Everyone on inters, but it's decided no, these people are clearly on the wets. That is a bizarre issue. It's an annoying issue. I mean, you can see it on the stream. It's showing for Faco, Jari Fitz, and Ivan, and Dan Edwin, and Dirk, and Ryan Kennedy that they're all on wets. So it's obviously some sort of client-side issue. I think it's not getting through to my end. So I think the only person who's been knocked out is Mark Crane because he got disqualified for stupid reasons, which is typical. Yeah, everyone was on inters. So Faco's 5 laps on wets were actually 5 laps on inters. That's... I guess it may have been because I loaded in slightly late. I don't know. Oh well. It happens. Need that. Right. So the first man out on track. It's Aiden in the Williams. Following him is a Red Bull of Gwyn Sander. If you're just joining us, Gwyn Sander is not a main driver for Red Bull. He's a reserve driver, deputising for Kane, who couldn't be here tonight. So, that's something I meant to look at. Everyone is on inters now. That is fixed. It just seemed to be an issue limited to Q1. With Q2, though, you have to try and take this one a bit more seriously, as now people can be knocked out. Won't be 5 people, as it would normally be. It's only going to be 4. Aiden will be the first man to get across the line to start a flying lap. Behind him is Gwyn Sander. Behind him is one of the Ferraris. That is Dan Edwin. Behind him is the other Red Bull of Ivan. And behind him is Dan Edwin's teammate, Dirk. And behind Dirk is Faco. Facoways, reigning Season 3 champion. Leonard's also in his outlap. He's just come out of the chicane right now. Oh. Yellow flag in Sector 3. I did think I saw someone spinning. No, it wasn't just spin. It's just Dan Edwin taking his time to get round the final corner to start his flying lap. Give him a bit of room to go to, so there's no dirty air or whatever. Or, try and limit the effects of it, as he does get a bit wobbly on the exit of 2, but he keeps it going in a straight line. That's gonna hurt his lap in the long run, I think. And he invalidates at turn 3. and then he drifts on turn 4. This isn't Tokyo Drift, my friend. Maybe he's a bit irritated. I would be. Just try not to wreck your car while you're at it. Gwyn Sanders also going slowly. He's invalidated as well. He decides to take out the marker boards, which... don't know if that's going to be too much of an effect. Hopefully not. These guys should know this track like the back of their hand, more or less. So, Ivan... 55-4 through Sector 2. What has Aiden done? He has not invalidated his lap, so he will set the benchmark, though he is 5/10 down on Ivan's time. There's been a car spinning through the chicane. That's Dirk. 1:41.1 is the benchmark to beat. Ivan now going through turn 13. His teammate just ahead of him, going to have to go for another attempt on his intermediates. And coming towards the start-finish line. And it's an easy provisional pole. Provisional P1, 1:39.6. Leonard has invalidated his lap. Faco has not, though. 55.1 is actually better than what Ivan did. And that is a lap that is about 1.5 tenths better than Ivan's personal best. Ben Dixon comes across the line, then Hyper, who has not... yeah, that was Hyper. He was probably in an out lap, or he invalidated. There's a car gone round. That's not Gwyn Sander, that was Ivan. Or he's just going very slowly. So at the moment, only 5 times on the board. Currently, Faco leads the pack, 1:39.4. Ivan is just behind that with a 1:39.6. Ben Dixon is not really just behind that. He's quite a way behind that, 140.3. And then 6/10 behind him is his teammate SPG. And then 2/10 behind that is Aiden with a 1:41.1. Gwyn Sander, though, will be about to set a much better lap. Well, he won a lap time, even. He hasn't invalidated, and his Sector 2 time was a 55.2. So that should be around P2. Yeah, 1:39.5. Fairly close battle for the top spots. As across the line goes Dan Edwin now, only a 1:40.2. So not a particularly great lap from Dan Edwin. Leonard hasn't invalidated this lap, so he should get a time on the board. Goes maybe a little wide, but didn't hurt him too much. 1:39.3. It's definitely looking like once again a battle between the Alfa Romeos and the Red Bulls, as they're lining up 2 by 2. Just need Dirk to put it 6th on the grid, maybe, and then we've got 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. Alphas, then Red Bulls, then Ferraris, then the AlphaTauris, then the Williams, and then it didn't go 2 by 2 again until the Mercedes. Speaking of the Mercedes, currently Hyper in the pits, Pookie on his outlap here. He's just exited the pits. Words aren't coming to me easily today, I don't know why. Let's see here. Anyone who will be next across the line won't be Gwyn Sander, he's been on a cool-down lap. Leonard, what's his time going to be? It does look like he might be pushing. It does sound like it as well. I mean, he's got 15 seconds to get round to the... No, he's going to come into the pit lane. Okay, oh, is the car gone round? Yes, indeed. SPG has spun round, and he went the wrong way, and yet he didn't get disqualified, so the game was obviously showing favoritism towards AlphaTauri for some reason. And as I look at Ben Dixon, he improves by just under 0.2 of a second as we watch Pookie coming out of the pit lane now. Rob, I think, yep, he is on his flying lap as well. Dirk on an out lap. Jari Fitz hasn't come out yet. Maybe he's indisposed. He won't have a lot of time to get out there. And obviously, people need to try and not invalidate their attempts, otherwise they won't get times on the board. We've got a car possibly gone round. Dana Edwin, once again, I think he's been caught out by Senior. Or turn 9, as it's turn 10 even. Not to be confused, not to be mistaken for the creators of the Forza Horizon games. Or Forza games in general. Gwyn Sander will come across the line to improve his time. Yes, 1:39.2, just ahead of Lennart. Gwyn Sander, where's this pace come from? He wasn't that far up the grid this time, this last week, but I guess maybe he prefers this track. Behind him is Ben Dixon, but he's invalidated. Behind him is Rob, world's greatest driver. No, it's not. Coming across the onto the word salad, across the finish line to set a 140.4, which is better than SPG and Aiden's attempts. So there's that at least. And Pookie sets the fastest time now, 138.9. You're only doing 128s here in the dry. Jari Fitz is on an out lap now. Car number 15. And Ryan Kennedy is coming around turn 14. And the penultimate turn on the lap. As he heads onto the final straight to finish his first attempt at a flying lap. Or at least his first lap that's going to get onto the board, and a 1:39.7 puts him P6. Jari Fitz is on his out lap, so he just starts that now. As well as Ivan, he's also on an out lap, though he's not done a full lap here. Yeah. He came out and then he's gone straight back in. Ben Dixon then, slightly up in his Sector 2. Ooh, it's a bit wobbly though. Maybe a bit too much curb that unsettled the car a little bit. Through turn 14 and into 15. I'm hearing weird things outside in real life, so yeah, I don't know what's going on. Ben Dixon, his lap was... It was an improvement, but I don't think it's moved him up the field much. I was distracted by real-life events. Hyper will be getting a time on the board now, and he goes fastest by 0.4 of a second. 1:38.5. And then Jari Jari has invalidated once as well. I almost said once again, but yeah, he has invalidated as well. Aiden on an out lap. Got Ryan Kennedy going for another attempt. He's just had a cool down lap. Got a yellow flag. That's just a red a Williams going slowly. That I think it's Aiden. In fact, yes, it is Aiden because he's the only Williams out on track. Dan Edwin starting another lap attempt. I think maybe we should ride on board. Oh, that's got a bit close between Rob and Dan Edwin. No harm done, though. SPG has also started his flying lap. We've had Aiden not potentially spinning, I don't know. And I've noticed now that it has stopped raining, so it will be getting drier. We may have a dry Q3. In fact, I've just noticed Dirk is on soft tyres, but this car really doesn't look happy. So it's obviously too early. Too early for the dry tyres. Angry Nigerians. Is that some sort of threat? Or are you just trying to joke around? Because I'm not. Well, I'm. What's the word? What am I trying to say? I'm renowned in my family for being, I guess, quite gullible. But then again, that's because I have Asperger's, so it's yeah. Unfortunately, because of my Asperger's, I find it quite difficult to tell what is a joke and what isn't sometimes. Like, unless you... Like, there have been times where my dad has said something to me, he's gone... You see... Oh, I don't know. I'm not making the most sense here, am I? Yeah, like, he will have told me a joke in such a straight-faced manner, and I'll be like, what, really? And then that's when he starts laughing and says, no, I'm joking. Yeah. Anyway, the session has ended. Cars coming across the line. Dirk has not managed to get a time on the board yet. He's going to try his luck on the soft tyres, but the car still doesn't look too happy. And Dan Edwin has spun again. That's not a great position. And the game decides not to invalidate him or disqualifying him for taking a brief moment to go backwards. Other post-race interviews? Not usually. I mean, I can put myself into the, what's it called? The voice chat in the Discord server. So if anyone does want to have a post-race interview, sure you are. I need to not pay so much attention to the chat because there's, proper stuff going on. Dirk, track does look fairly dry. It looks like it's got a sheen to it. What's his time gonna be? It's nothing. He didn't set a time. So that's unfortunate for Dirk. That means he does get knocked out. Aiden, SPG, and Rob also get knocked out. Sure he does. I mean... I mean, that's kind of why I'm here, to commentate on the race, not to act like some, I don't know, frat bro or whatever. Rob the Roadblock is like the early Verstappen. He just needs a better car. Hey, guess what? Every car here is equal. Every car is more or less exactly the same. There are only slight differences, and that's because the cars are a different wheelbase. So, And yeah, and look where that Haas is. It's P4. Right, performance is set to equal. I'm turning chat off. Alright, well, I'm going to briefly take this moment to enter the voice chat in case anyone does want to have a post-race interview, and hopefully it doesn't mess up too much with recording bits and whatever. And it looks like we're going to have a dry Q3, so we'll fight for pole, and hopefully it will be a lot easier to stay inside track limits and to not spin at places like Senior. If Rob had the 2019 Mercedes, he'd be slower. And to say I turned the chat off, I do have it off. It's just on my phone, which is playing the stream just to my side, just to make sure that nothing goes wrong. But hopefully nothing will go wrong, because I did discover that OBS, Streamlabs OBS, has a performance mode. That is why the early streams were so laggy and whatnot. Wish I knew about that the first time I streamed, but it's not like they go out of your way to say, oh yeah, if you turn this off, things will be better. Anyway, first car out on track, it's Pastor Maldonado, given that it's car number 13. I jest, of course, it's Dan Edwin, who's taken Pastor's old number. But Dan Edwin is anything but Mr. Crash Tour Maldonado. He is, he's had a couple of spins in the early sessions today, but he is not Mr. Crash Tour. Almost every car has come out to the pits now, only 3 still in there. The Haas of Gary Fitz, the Alfa Romeo of Fakeaways, and Dan Edwin's coming into the pits. Maybe he's not happy with the setup in some way. So that will be 4 cars into the pits. Actually, no, that is Faco coming out. I forgot who was first across the line or coming out. Oh yeah, it was Dan Edwin. We were watching him, weren't we? Let's ride with Ivan here as we're going.
You wanted an interview, right?
Well, not now.
Oh,
At the end of the race. Right, I was briefly distracted because someone decided to jump into the interview room before I mean, I don't do pre-race interviews because there's qualifying going on, and there's just not enough time to get a pre-race interview going. I need more a larger team. It's different when things are in real life and when things are virtual. It's just not really. It's just not really possible, I feel. We lost. I hate it when this happens. Every time I load into a new session, it gets rid of the lap data. So unfortunately, I didn't catch what Ivan's sector times were, but don't worry, we'll learn what his sector time is going to be here. His full time 1:29.2. As Banana King is now following. Thank you for the follow. Behind him is Ben Dixon, 50.5. That's a substantial improvement over the wet times, but he's about 4/10 off. Behind that is Ryan Kennedy now in the Alpine. He's gone second, about 2/10 off of Ivan. In fact, more or less 2/10, yeah. Don't be fooled. It may say 1:29.2 and 1:29.3, but actually, That Ivan's time is a 2:97, which is basically a 1:29.3, but that's now hang on, irrelevant more or less, as Hyper is now on provisional pole with a 1:29.1. The next person to come across the line is Lennart. He's done a 1:29.3. Splits Ryan and Ivan. Next will be Yari Fitz, who's had a 49.3 in Sector 2. Comes across the line, and he's 300ths away from the 1:28s. Currently provisional pole, and there we go. Faco is the first man into the 1:28s. Absolutely blitzes Yari Fitz's time. Blitzes Fitz's. 1:28.875. Next is going to be Ben Dixon, almost 7/10 quicker than his previous best, 5/10 in the end. Did he didn't invalidate, did he? I don't think so. Maybe he just didn't improve that as well as I thought he did. Next, it's going to be Pookie in the Mercedes W12, black and silver with that little bit of red on the top. It's a paint scheme that's grown on me. It's okay. It's not as good as the 2021 though. The 2020 livery, that is, not the 2021 one. 1:29.1 for Pookie. 500ths faster than his teammate Hyper. Now people coming into the pits, except for Dan Edwin, who, as we know, he invalidated his time, but this time he hasn't, though it's not going to be a representative time. It's only a 1:42.9, so this time he will have to get a oh no, it's not worked out for him already. Funnily enough, though, he doesn't invalidate, so he didn't go faster off the track than because that's how the penalty system works in F1 2021. If you go off the track and rejoin and you are faster than the sort of benchmark, then it gives you the penalty. But if you go off the track and you're either identical or slower than the benchmark, then it doesn't penalise you. So, yeah. He went off the track there and obviously didn't gain any time. .49.6 through Sector 2. And through Lasinia. Can go pretty much flat out at that turn. Not at this turn though, you have to slow down a bit. Quite a long, fast corner though. This one, not so much. I thought he was going to invalidate there, but game can be quite finicky about that, and Dan Edwin's coming into the pits. I guess his tyres just don't quite have it in them anymore. So better to slap on a fresh set of softs than to use up these older ones. The ones as good a time as you can get. The same thing would appear to have either happened to Gwynsander. I don't think he may not have actually come out, actually. Yeah, I don't think he's come out at all. But Dixon did his best lap time on 2-lap-old softs. I mean, soft tyres are the only tyres anyone's going to be using. It would be rather ridiculous to use mediums or hards in qualifying. I think the only time hard tyres were ever used in qualifying, in a post-2019 qualifying anyway, was the 2020 70th anniversary Grand Prix, where they softened the tyres by 1 step. So Silverstone has Silverstone usually has the C3, 4, and 5 tyres, I think, or C1, 2, and 3. I don't remember which one is the hardest tyres, but they bought 1 step softer tyres So instead of the hard tyre being C1, it was now the C2, which was the medium tyre at the British Grand Prix. So they switched. The hard tyre was essentially the medium tyre at the British Grand Prix. And I've probably cocked that story up a lot, but these things don't come easily to me. I'm not exactly a social butterfly. Well, Gwynsander is on his outlap. Dan Edwin still in the pits. He's got to come out now. He is coming out. He should just about scrape in a time. Or at least scrape in a time. Get across the line just in time. At the minute, though, it's going to be Jari Fitz who's taking his time. Jari Fitz will be the first man to start his flying lap. He's going to use as much of the turn 15 as he can. And he goes for it now. Across the line to start his final flying lap of the session with 1 minute and 10 seconds to go. Through turns 1 and 2. I remember that those turns used to be quite easy on 2018. Then they got really hard for 2019, and they've got sort of better for 2020 and 21. 2019, that was just a horrible game to drive. It was so disappointing. Anyway, I didn't catch his sector 1 time, that's my mistake. But we'll catch his sector 2 time as he heads down the Mistral Straight. DRS wide open into the braking zone now as we go through the Montreal chicane. Turns 8, 9, and 10, that's it. And towards turn 11, which is a senior, 48.8 through sector 2. 5/10 up on his previous best. This will be easy provisional pole if he can keep this pace up and not invalidate as he comes through Le Beausset. I can't remember if that's what it's called, never mind. Very wide on the exit of 12. He's managed to keep the car inside the white lines through the final corner now to finish his lap, and his time is going to be a 1:28.4. He did indeed keep up that pace, 5/10 faster. Gwynsander leads Ivan now, and this will be Gwyn's only time on the board. What Ivan managed to do, I don't know. Gwynsander, though, he apparently did a 49.5 through Sector 2, so it's not going to be provisional pole unless he's at a mega third sector. Nope. He's only P8. Ivan does not improve. He's only had a P7. Who's next? It's going to be Faco. He's 128.4. Then it will be Pookie in the Mercedes, 128.7. It seems that no one quite has the answer to the pace of Jari Fitz, who is just a reserve driver. What can Hyper do? Self-confessed not good at qualifying, but he's managed P3, 128.5. And Dan Edwin has not managed to get off the bottom of the timing tables. 129.3, I think that was. The 129.6, and Ryan Kennedy was 5th place last I saw. I don't think he improved from that. No, he was 6th. Okay. So, Jari Fitz, surprise pole position, followed by Faco. Only 7 thousandths slower. I reckon Faco's kicking himself for that. A 10th down on Jari is Hyper, and another 10th or so off of him is Pookie in P4. So it's an old Mercedes, second row. Leonard is P5, Ryan Kennedy P6. It's an old Red Bull, fourth row, as Ivan is P7 and Gwynsander P8. And Ben Dixon and Dan Edwin take up the final row of the top 10. Yes, but I'm talking about a social butterfly. I'm not great in social, you see? My brain's locking up. It's not just because I find it difficult to talk to people, it's also that sometimes I just don't feel comfortable in such large groups. I hate going to pubs, I hate going to clubs. Last time I was at a party, I just felt out of place. Do I like being alone? No, but I sort of kind of thrive in it, which is weird. Anyway, that's a front row you don't see every day. Pair of cars that, under normal circumstances, would never ever be near it. And yet, they started on the front row. Gary Fitz didn't seem to have the greatest start there. Because Q2 was rain affected, everyone gets a free choice of tyres, and it's looking like almost everyone starts on mediums even. My mistake. Softs used to be yellow. Not for a few years, though. Only 2 cars starting on hards, and that's both of the Mercedes. So, going for the alternate strategy yet again. Slower at the start, faster at the end. Could be quite... well, we've seen that it can be quite an effective strategy to go harder at the beginning of the race and slower and softer later. So Jari Fitz leading the way on this formation lap. He did get back into that lead, but it doesn't really matter. Formation lap after all, and he's picked up quite a gap to Faco behind, and that might harm his tyres a little bit. You don't want them to cool down too much. Slowing down for the final run to the finish line, well, the starting grid. And this might be an okay camera to use. As the cars line up. Got Mokrane at the back. There's no sign of Tim VD. He hasn't joined. So that's unfortunate. But the race begins shortly. We've got 5 red lights on. It's lights out and away we go. And it's looking like it's been a pretty decent start for Jari Fitz. Indeed, yes, the Faco has fallen back. It looks like it's about to be overtaken by the Mercedes of Hyper. He's going to go narrow. Oh, and there's a car spinning in the background. I think that was SPG. And indeed, Faco has lost position to Hyper here, but he's fighting back on those medium tyres. He's got the grip at this early stage of the race, and it looks like it's paying off. Indeed, it has. Keep saying indeed. My name isn't Teal'c, and that's Leonard, who's had an amazing start. He's about to overtake the Mercedes of Hyper as well. He's got a bit of a slipstream from his teammate Faco, and this little squabble for second place is proving dividends for Jari Fitz, who's already almost 2 seconds up the road. Yes, that was SPG who had a spin. Dirk's also not had a great issue. Oh, and something's gone wrong for Dirk. I think he's conked the wall. Indeed, he has. So he's spun at turn 10. We've got a virtual safety car that will neutralize the field. So this will be a bit of a race to forget for Dirk. Things just haven't gone well for him. It lasted a grand total of 10 corners. 9 corners, that's it. So, let's look at position changes. Pressing the wrong buttons. can only see penalties. Oh, there we go. Position change. Currently, Rob was 5 positions up, but he's just pulled into the pits. I wonder why. Does he have damage? I don't know. It's possible. Yes, there is a front wing being prepared. He has front wing damage. Yes, he has lost his front right end plate. So he's at the back of the grid now. Behind SBG even. Leonard up 2 positions. He started in 5th and he's absolutely rocketed up into 3rd. Meanwhile, we did see that Pookie had a bit of a squabble after turn 2, and he's down 4 positions in P8 as the race gets back underway. Has it caught Leonard out a bit? He's hitting a bit of a slipstream to Hyper. He's managing to hold off for now, and maybe he'll be trying to back Hyper up into Ryan Kennedy. So will be a squabble behind him and allow the 2 Alfa Romeos to zoom off in chase of Jari Fitz, who's already 2.3 seconds ahead. But is he going to be able to keep that lead? It's up to Faco and Lennart. Ivan, meanwhile, has managed to potentially gained a position. It says 1, but it doesn't. I think he had gained a position. He didn't start the race in 6th, so he's gained at least 1 position. The thingy's being annoying. It's Jari Fitz sets the fastest lap, and now there's a lot of fastest laps, but then again, it's there was virtual safety car on the previous lap, so it doesn't really matter. DRS is now enabled, and that puts Faco under threat from Lennart. Will Lennart try and work together with Faco? This is going to be a bit of a DRS train if Lennart can keep everyone behind. First man to get a penalty is Aiden. Obviously, he's cut 1 corner too many. Rob gets the fastest lap. Oh dear, pardon me. 1:38.5. He's got the freshest tyres here, as he did have to make that pit stop. But he won't keep that fastest lap, I don't think. The times will tumble as fuel levels decrease. And Lennart's managed to hold everyone off, and in fact he has managed to pull just ahead of Hyper outside of that 1 second barrier. Oh, maybe Hyper's managing to hold it. It's sort of balancing on the edge of a second. Hyper is just within that I can't remember the words I normally use. Yeah, he's just within the 1 second zone, and I don't think Lennart's had a very good sector there, as Hyper is within 9/10, so he does have the DRS again. Lennart has set the fastest lap of the race though, so I'm wondering what the setups are like. Could Lennart have more downforce on his car, maybe? We've got a yellow flag, that's Mokrane. He's had a spin at turn 2. And that's a turn that can catch you out at the best of times. Faco still losing time to Fitz ahead, who's just come out of nowhere. He's just a reserve driver, and yet he's driving like, I guess he's experienced enough that he's catching some of our drivers out. The sky is darkening. We're going to get some rain. The old SBGs had a spin, I think, at Montreal. Yeah, look how dark it's got. We're going to either have cloud or potentially some rain. Just seen the chat. Haas P1? Is this what F1 will be like in 2022? I mean, who knows? Haas might have the best car. That is the great reset. of the 2022 rules. They will be borrowing a lot of Ferrari parts, though, so it's... You never know, but I wouldn't put too much money on them. Finish off my drink quickly. Yeah, Rob was P9. He is now P14 after he sustained damage. But since he's clearly the fastest driver in the world, he'll be P1 in no time. As we watch the two Alfa Romeos, swap positions. Faco didn't put up too much of a fight. He let Lennart go past. I don't think there will be too much of a squabble between them. Oh, maybe not. He's very close to the diffuser of his teammate's car as Pookie picks up a penalty now. That's unfortunate. Bit of a insult to injury there. He didn't have the greatest start, and now he's stuck in P8 in the middle of a great big DRS train. Hyper, meanwhile, has managed to close that deficit. He's had an amazing couple of laps here. And he's right behind Faco, but he's had a bit of wheel spin. Got his wheels on the curb. And he's lost a couple of tenths, but there's not been too much of an issue. At least he didn't fall out outside of a second. I think Hyper is just finding so much time through the turns. It's remarkable, really. Could be finding... He's finding pace from somewhere, even though he's on hard tyres. Onto the Mistral straight again, and now it's up to Faco to see if he can defend, but getting a DRS overtake on someone who has DRS is not the easiest feat. Faco closing up on Lennart, but no swap of positions just yet. If there will be one, and that's this DRS train right there. Oh, there's a car going wide. That was, I think that was Gwynsander. Yeah, that was almost certainly Gwynsander, who is now under threat from Pookie. He's fallen outside of a second of Ivan ahead, and that mistake could prove costly. His tyres might be completely cooked. Oh, and yes, indeed they are. They are cooked as hell. He goes round on what is essentially a slightly bent straight. Ben Dixon's had a spin as well. So that's a disaster, a double disaster for Honda-powered cars here. Ben Dixon down in 11th. Gwynsander has only lost 2 positions, so he's still in the points. But his medium tyres are evidently crying for mercy. And that is, unfortunately, how things are when you're racing with carcass temperatures on. Once you get hot tyres, it's very difficult to cool them down. Hyper has fallen slightly further behind Lennart. He's not as close as he was. And there has been another switch of position for the Alphas. Faco is leading Lennart again. I guess they're trying to tow each other in pursuit of Jari Fitz. But it's currently, the gap hasn't closed that much. It's only a 2.3 second gap. At least the gap hasn't grown that much. But it's not really falling either. I mean, the Haas is still inside of a frame, the race frame. And maybe there's... I don't know where they're going to be finding the time. Jari Fitz is pulling away slightly in this section. But then maybe he'll start losing that later on in the lap. He's got plenty of battery to play with. And he's already... I think Jari Fitz has to have less downforce going on. Because he's finding so much time. He's already 2 tenths further ahead. So a bit of an odd one. I'm not certain what the setups are like, as Gwynsander picks up a penalty now. Picks that up for going a bit too wide, maybe. Cut to corner a little bit. And it's looking like this race is going to be a rather typical Paul Ricard affair. If only every Paul Ricard race could be like the one we had in May last year. Or not May, June. That was an amazing race. But this race, we're 8 laps in, and it's not looking like it's going to be anything close to that. Jari Fitz is gradually pulling ahead. I have to see what his lap time is like. As he comes across through the final corner, and he's using his ERS on the main straight, the start-finish straight, whilst Faco is not. 133.1 didn't tell me, because why would it want to tell me? But yeah. And Lennox has actually managed to get past Faco again, and Faco is under threat from Hyper. The two Alphas trying to swap positions, and it's Hyper. Faco goes off track to try and defend, but it's not worked out. Hyper has got past Faco, and now Faco under threat from Ryan Kennedy. I think this is Hyper's hard tyres coming to their own here. They are going to last a bit longer than the mediums. So they should be feeling a bit like mediums at the moment, I would have thought. A bit like slightly fresher mediums, I think. But they won't last forever. Now Faco's got to get back past the Mercedes if he can. And all this is doing is giving Jari Fitz the ability to get further ahead. We've got another spin. That's SBG. He's spun on the exit of turn 7 or whatever it was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I think, actually. I don't know. But he's lost his front wing. And we've got a virtual safety car again. And that's allowing Jari Fitz and Leonard to pit for new tyres. I reckon they'll be going on to hards here. Got a few cars coming into the pits. Oh, Dan Edwin picks up a drive-through penalty for speeding. Guess he wasn't paying too much attention there. And, the Alphas are double stacking. Faker will possibly lose a position here. I think he has. Ivan is ahead. Unfortunately, that is the downsides to double stacking as we return to racing speed with a fair amount of cars now on hard tyres, and now Hyper and Pookie are going to be at risk as they are still on their original hard tyres, and there's a bit of a battle for P10 between Rob and Gwynsander, and Rob manages to stay ahead. But will he be able to keep that position? Well, there's going to be a DRS zone coming up in a couple of corners' time. And I can't see how Rob could keep that position. But Gwynsander picks up another 3-second time penalty for his troubles. Into the DRS zone now. Gwynsander is not using the ERS, but he doesn't need to, because he's going to make that overtake under DRS instead. And that is bye-bye to Rob. It was nice to have you in the points for about 5 seconds. And Gwynsander is now starting to pull away, but he's got to pull up a pretty major gap, as he has, I imagine, at least 3 seconds of worth of penalties. I think he has, 6 seconds worth. Dan Edwin also has that drive-through, so this is going to wreck his race. He's got to come in within a couple of laps' time. I think he'll try and get that out of the way as soon as he can. And indeed, he does. So, Dan Edwin, his race thrown away, and that's going to put Rob back into the points. As Jari Fitz now picks up a 3-second time penalty, which is something he probably didn't want. but it's not going to be too much of an issue for him, as he's 4.2 seconds ahead of Leonard. So I don't know where he's finding this pace, but Leonard has to pick up the pace a bit himself. Further down the field, Rob is within a second of Gwyn Sander. Will he be able to make the overtake on track? He was not looking too happy there. The car looked like it was drifting a bit. He's got the DRS, but he's not going to be able to make the move unless he makes an absolutely insane dive, which would probably take out both cars. Managed to gain a bit of... catch up a little bit. Hyper under threat from Ryan Kennedy now, who's still on his medium tyres. And the gap between Pookie and Yari Fitz, I can only imagine, is going to be closing. And I think it has. It was. Could the hard tyres still have a bit of pace in them? Well, Yari Fitz has just set the fastest lap of the race, 1:32.237. Currently, Ryan Kennedy not having the greatest Sector 1 there. But he will get the DRS, and in an attempt to try and get past the Mercedes, he's closing rapidly, but I don't think he's going to have enough straight here. And indeed, he's not. He managed to close to about 3/10, but he's losing it all on the exit of the chicane. Possibly a bit of dirty air in there as well, as Gwyn Sander now has 9 seconds of penalties. He's not having a great amount of luck on this track. He's picking up all the penalties, and that's not going to help him in the long run. He could finish inside the points, but then, he could finish inside the points on track, but then fall outside of the points because of all these penalties he keeps picking up. Meanwhile, Ryan Kennedy's tyres are almost certainly, well, I reckon, yeah, they're not going to be feeling very good. They're 12 laps old now, and they're medium tyres, so they're not going to be as fast as he would probably like. And he's going to lose a lot of time. We had a car going round. That's Aiden. It's not going too well for him. Can Ryan make the move now? He's not having as tight lines as Hyper is. Could be a bit of experience, and yeah, he's not having a good time through that corner. I know that much. It catches even me out. And that has, unfortunately, impacted his ability to attack Hyper on this lap. I think that's because his tyres just don't have the grip they used to. And the gap... Well, Yari Fitz is closing in. He's now 5.9 seconds behind Pookie, who has a rather distant view, a backseat view to the battle ahead. Ryan, though, did manage to catch back up. I think he had a much better traction on the exit of the chicane, but he's got to hold off for now. As we go through turn 12 even. Will those mediums hold up? He's going to have to pit at some point, but maybe he'll try and drag them out for a long time before switching to softs. Everyone keeps going to the inside here. I guess that's just the fastest way to get to the racing line on the outside of turn 1. Ryan had the DRS, but I think he didn't have great traction again. Certainly, neither of them are using a lot of energy. Meanwhile, Faco is closing in on Ivan, whilst Ivan has not been able to keep up with Leonard. 2 cars in front of Ivan, Yari and Leonard, are just flying in comparison, and Ivan just doesn't have the answer. Which means he is now under threat from the reigning champ. Going rather slowly through turn 7 or whatever it was. 6, I think, actually. Has the DRS. I don't think he's going to be able to make the move just yet, though. Ooh, and a bit of a lag spike, I think. Bit of the ERS, but he's got the toe. Is he going to be able to make the move? I think he's going to try. He's going up the inside. Is Ivan going to cut him off? No. Forces Ivan to take the wider line. And Faco does get ahead of the Red Bull for now. But will positions be reversed? Oh, that's a bit close. Ivan looked like Ivan was not going to get on the brakes in time. Ivan maintaining the gap. To his credit. He's closing in. He'll get the DRS himself. Oh, but he had a bit of a wobble. And that's prevented him from being able to make the attack on this occasion. He does still have the DRS, though, and that's going to provide... Oh, no, he's gone wide. I think he was caught out by by how fast he was closing on Faco, and that's thrown him off. And now he's got to make up all that work again. And that's not gone well for Ivan there. And unfortunately, he's probably going to lose more and more time to Faco. Looked like it was going to start drifting again as Quinsander picks up another set of penalties. Oh dear. Ryan, meanwhile, has not been able to get past Hyper. I don't think he will be able to do that on these ancient medium tyres. Both cars have been wearing these tyres since the beginning of the race. But Ryan Kennedy is on the softer compound. And those don't last quite as long, so they're going to be feeling rather second-hand around mile, but I would imagine, as we saw right there, he got a heck of a lot of wheel spin, as that's Pookie coming into the pits now. Wonder if he's going to try and undercut Ryan here. I don't think the Mercedes will be fighting for the lead here, but the fresher mediums could prove crucial. And that will put Pookie behind Ivan Hafterkamp at the least. Indeed. So he's got a lot of ground to make up. Fresher tyres could prove crucial. Yari Fitz now 7.7 seconds behind Ryan Kennedy. As Ivan picks up 3 seconds worth of penalties now. So what are the penalties like for people at the minute? That was Ivan's first offence. 3 seconds onto his time, and that's going to prove it's not going to be... He wouldn't have wanted to see that, as he is trying to get past Faco. But that means if he does get past Faco, he's got to try and gain 3 seconds on him. That's just not going to be easy, as for a good portion of that time, Faco will be within the DRS detection zone, as Aiden has had a spin at turn 2. Ivan has, to his credit, managed to catch back up to Faco somewhat, but he's got to get past Faco and then gain another 3 seconds. Not the easiest job in the world at all. Leonard, meanwhile, has been running more or less on the same pace as Fitz. I think, actually, he's got a little bit slower on this lap. He's losing a bit of time. Ben Dixon has the DRS. He's trying to get past Gwyn Sander. Sure, he'll get the position after the race on penalties, but everyone wants to get the position on track, unlike Lewis Hamilton at Canada in 2019. Ben Dixon within 4 tenths, so he'll get the DRS on this occasion. And he's got a much tighter line than Gwyn Sander, so I don't see any way that he couldn't get past Gwyn Sander, unless he messes up a corner, and Gwyn Sander has actually cut the corner there, so that will be another warning. He's going off the track. And that's a fairly easy pass for the AlphaTauri. So Ben Dixon pretty safe. And Gwen Sander picks up another penalty. What a shame that he had such a brilliant attempts at qualifying, and now he's in the race. It's just throwing. Oh, there we go. That's Ryan Kennedy into the pits. So he's forfeiting his positions. Indeed, yeah, it's like I said. He stretched out his mediums as long as he could, and then he went onto soft tyres. But how will they go for the final, I think, 7 laps? I think he'll be on those 4. That he could have... No, that's going to be about 8 or 9 laps, I think, as Pookie sets the fastest lap. He's right behind the Alpine, but with those soft tyres, will Ryan have the necessary pace advantage to stay ahead? Not at the moment. And Hyper is going to have to pit eventually. I think he'll come into the pits on this lap to defend against Ryan Kennedy. Gwen Sander picks up another penalty. So, that's unfortunate for Gwen Sander. We've got Mokrane going off at turn 1. Or was he? No, that was just a lag spike. Okay. Oh, we're watching SPG go around at turn 14. That is a strange place to spin. I've not seen that happen a lot. Gwen Sander, you need to stop picking up penalties now. Faco and Ivan still squabbling for position. Though Ivan still has not yet managed to get back past Faco. And there we go, there's Hyper into the pits. He's put on soft tyres as well, so he's definitely going to be fighting against Ryan Kennedy. And that's for a... will it be for a potential race victory? I don't know. He's going to come out ahead of Ryan and his teammate. And that's... well... Pookie's on the medium tyres, so he doesn't really have much of a chance. He has managed to keep within Ryan Kennedy's DRS detection zone, but now it's Hyper under threat from Ryan, and this is... it goes to show how powerful the undercuts can be. Ryan was... well, actually no, the position has stayed the same, actually. So no, the undercut didn't work for Ryan, did it? My mistake. But Ryan is within the DRS zone. Oh, got some funky internet stuff going on. Rob is going to try and make a move on Mokrane. He'll get the DRS on this occasion, though he picks up his first 3-second penalty of the race. We got a yellow flag. That is SPG. What's happened here? Was he trying to get into the pit lane? I think he was. Maybe that's why he spun on the previous lap. He misjudged how fast he had to go, and he spun, and he's decided to just DNF. Ryan Kennedy now sets the fastest lap of the race, 1:31.0, chasing down the Mercedes of Hyper. And this is pretty much the battle to watch, though there's Ivan still right behind Faco, and Ivan will get the DRS. I think both of these guys are on the same age of tyre. Yep, 10-lap-old hard tyres, but they'll be under threat from Hyper, who is on those fresh softs, or more or less completely fresh, 1 lap old. Got yellows in Sector 1. What's going on there? That is Ben Dixon, I think. No, that's SPG, who his car has decided to come out of the pit lane for some reason. That's where we've got yellow flags. And yes, Ivan, unfortunately, because of that distraction, Ivan has got past Faco, but Faco's fighting back around the inside of Le Bousset, and he has managed to get past, but Ivan is going to fight back as well. What a move from Faco there. got past. And that's thrown Ivan off a bit, and now both cars under threat from Hyper on those fresh soft tires. Is gonna go around the outside. What a move! That's not a typical overtaking place, but he made Ivan's Red Bull look like it was in a completely different league. Fastest lap of the race, 1:30.9. He's now right behind Faco. And I don't see how Faco could keep hold of this position for much longer. Through Sector 1, and Faco just doesn't have the same pace. He's on 11 lap old hard tyres. And Hyper's trying to go around the outside. That's how quick and racy he is right now. He's get this the DRS, and he's going to make this move look easy. But he doesn't have a lot of ERS to play with. Whilst Faco, well, he doesn't have a lot to play with either. We're getting towards the end of the race, and cars are starting to run out of energy if they haven't been used particularly well. And again, everyone's probably running out of energy. Even Yari Fitz, who has managed to gain on Leonard here. And I think Hyper the best position Hyper could get is P2. I don't think he's close enough to Yari to be able to get ahead. Ryan Kennedy now being held up by Ivan, who is now taking on the title of Roadblock, and that's going to provide dividends for Hyper, who was potentially under threat, but now Ryan's a bit of a part of the DRS train now. Will he be able to get past the ancient hard runners? Well, he might be able to get past Ivan. He's got a little bit more battery to play with. Is he going to make a dive? No, he holds off for now. He knows he has the tyres to fight with. He's just going to hold off for now. Oh, and he's closing up in the wrong place. He has all the pace in the wrong places, but he has the DRS now. And he should be able to get past, even though Ivan does have the DRS as well. And this puts Ryan in prime position to take on Fakeaways in the second of the Alfa Romeos. Pookie picks up a 3-second time penalty for his trouble. Fako. Ooh, who's under threat here? Lots of red blinking lights. Ryan trying to make his move on Faker, but he's going to have to wait for a few more turns at least. And worst case scenario, he'll have to wait until the Mistral Straight, which is perhaps the prime overtaking spot on this track. Not to say it can't be done at turn 1. He does have the tyres to fight with. He's got the DRS, he's using more of his energy. Is he gonna make the move? He's going up the inside. I think he's got, yep, he's made it, he's got it done. Up the inside, easy does it. Made it look easy. And now, unfortunately, he's lost 2 seconds to Hyper in front. And because his tyres are slightly older, well, I don't think he's going to be able to gain too much. Hyper is actually within 2.1 seconds of Lennart. And yeah, Hyper may have a great amount of pace on him, but I really don't see how he could get ahead of Lennart and also catch up to Yari Fitz. I just don't think he'll be able to do it. There's not enough time in the race. And already his pace is running out. He's used up all of his battery. He's got to rely entirely on the grip of his tyres to try and catch up. So Hyper may even have to settle for even third here. But he's still got the pace through the corners, and that should be crucial enough. He doesn't have the DRS just yet, but he has managed to gain about 6/10 through Sector 3. and Leonard at threat of having his long-held second position taken away from him. But he's still got a bit of battery to play with, whereas Hyper is using all of it to try and catch up. He wants that second place. But still, no DRS for Hyper. He is within a second, but he didn't do it in time for the DRS detection zone. And I don't remember if we caught it on screen. Gwynsander has been disqualified. He's just he picked up way too many penalties. He kept that's a real shame. What a real shame. That means we'll have, at best, 11 finishers. There's been no major crashes. We've had Gwynsander, who's been disqualified for picking up so many penalties. I think he reached about 26 seconds. Dirk, he had a crash at turn 9. SBG, he had a crash as well, but he retired inside the pit lane, and Aiden also retired inside the pit lane. Will we get any further retirements? There's only about 2 or 3 laps left. Ryan Kennedy's picked up a penalty as well now, which means he won't keep P4. Faco is going to get P4 on penalties, even if he doesn't get it on track. Whilst Hyper, within the DRS detection, he's saved up a little bit of battery. He's got the DRS. Leonard trying to break the toe, and it may have worked a little bit. He's defending the outside. Hyper was about to make the move, but he decided to hold off for now. He has the grip to play with, and he's going to be able to go up the inside of Lasagna. He's in the DRS, not the DRS, the toe. Actually, there's a bit of a defense from Leonard. I thought maybe there was going to be a crash. Hyper did not go up the inside, so he didn't feel as confident, maybe. But he's able to hold on for now. Losing a bit of time, maybe because of dirty air. He was very close to the Alfa Romeo. He saved up a fair amount of battery, though, that Leonard does not have. Leonard is using his battery a little bit, but Hyper has more to play with. I think he's going to have to hold off for now. He's got the DRS until turn 1. He has to make the move. At this rate, it's going to be Yari who is going to win. There's no way anyone can catch up in time. It's been just a flawless race from Yari, who he got pole position, and he's kept on hold of the race, of the lead, except for when he pit, and this man you're watching on board with right now, he was leading the race. He's going to make the move here. Leonard does not have the battery to play with. He doesn't have the DRS. He doesn't have the grip. And there we go. That's Hyper in the lead. Not the lead. Ahead of Leonard. It might be the lead if Yari has just makes a major mistake. Hyper has apparently actually set the fastest middle sector. Went purple at least. Why is your car still on track? You're dips, aren't you? Stygian? Oh! Yari Fitz has picked up a 5-second penalty. What's going on for Yari Fitz? He's got a puncture, I think. I'm not certain. That tire's looking really weird. This is gonna be... What the hell has happened here? Hyper suddenly has the lead. What is going on for Yari Fitz? Why did he pit? He's gone... He has just thrown away the race victory. Maybe though, because he's a reserve driver, he's decided, I'm not gonna take victory. I'm gonna give it to someone else. So Hyper is in the lead of the race on the final lap. Maybe Yari Fitz was trying to get the fastest lap and he's just mistimed it. You can't get the fastest lap by pitting on the final lap because there is no lap after that. So Hyper is going to pick up an unexpected race victory here. It's getting dark again, but I guess it was just a cloudy race. We didn't get any rain whatsoever, and Leonard is actually fighting as hard as he can. He knows the victory's on the table, but he just doesn't have the grip. Yellow flag in Sector 2, that's Ryan Kennedy. He's had a spin, I think. Yes, he has. So he's now lost the 4th position he had on the road. And Yari Fitz has picked up his first 3-second penalty of the race too. So what the hell it was this last lap? I am absolutely... I have no words. Hyper is picking up the victory after after Yari Fitz took pole position and had such a dominant lead, and then he threw it away, potentially trying to get the fastest lap, and just completely timed it incorrectly. Oh, and there's a bit of contact after the race, but it doesn't matter because the race is over. And I think that was him doing that in frustration. He knows he's thrown that away. I'm absolutely certain he mistimed that. He meant to pit on the previous lap, but even then, that would not have been a good idea. He should have just stayed out. I have no words for that. I just have no words at all. I'm just trying to figure out what has just happened there. Is that controversy? Hyper picks up driver of the day after... I'm just... I'm speechless. So that's an Alfa Romeo double podium. This is not going to be a great result for Red Bull as one of their drivers got disqualified. And Ivan Hafterkamp, he only finished... Well, he did finish P4, so there's that. But that's a double points finish for Alfa Romeo, which means they'll close the gap somewhat. And Ivan does gain some ground on Kane, but not as much as he probably would have liked. So let's look at the race director. I don't know if... I have no idea if Yari had a puncture or anything. Exceeded track limits? 5 seconds? What? You don't get 5 seconds for exceeding track limits. I don't know. I don't know why he did that. But yeah, Hyper wins, Leonard second, Faco third, Ivan fourth, Pookie fifth, Ryan sixth, Yari is seventh, Ben Dixon eighth, Rob gets points, and Mockrane finishes 10th. So, yeah. Bit of an odd finish, that one. I'm gonna have to ask about, as to why that's happened. So I'll just close the game here. Anyone who wants an interview, and indeed we do have Hyper.
Hello.
Hello. So, bit of an unexpected victory for you there.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great way to put it. I don't know why he went into pit there. He was on the hards, and yeah, I just like, when I realized it, I was like, I'm P1. I'm actually P1, but then I had, I think it was Leonard right behind me, so there was pressure until the very end.
Let me see. I'm trying to think of questions.
Could ask about strategy.
Yeah, I noticed that you and Pookie were the only guys who started on on the hard tires. Was it always the plan to go on to stretch those as long as possible and go on to softs, or were you going to originally go on to mediums?
Mediums was definitely like in our discussion, if you want to put it like that. Of course, the rain and the qualifying changed everything because that would granted us like free tire choice at the beginning of the race. But we were discussing a lot like how to like what to do, like medium, hard, soft, hard, hard, soft. And then after some discussion, we just thought that starting on the hards, like the hards weren't that much off the mediums in terms of pace. So starting on the hards and then stretching them to around lap 18, 19, and then if there's no like let's say there's 3 safety cars or virtual safety cars all the time, then going in for the soft at lap 18, 19, coming out then you will be like it's upwards of like 2-3 seconds a lap. Used soft compared to fresh, used hards compared to fresh softs. So that was our plan. Like it wasn't the plan all along, but that was what we decided on. Like coming out of Q3, we decided we are gonna go into hards. So it paid off in the end. At least for me, not so much for Pookie.
Yeah, he went on to the mediums.
Yeah, it was because I was talking to him during the whole race, and it was because I think he was in a DRS train, but then he lost out on that train, and then he went in for mediums because he would just lose time on those tires being alone, and the guys ahead would just pull off with the DRS.
Okay, well, congrats on the victory, even if it wasn't what you were expecting. But I think an unexpected victory is still a victory.
Yeah, we take those. We take those.
So,
But
yep, you first.
yeah, I was just about to say we have Ivan and Leonard.
Yeah,
I've
noticed.
Yeah.
Yes, hello guys.
Hello. Good race, by the way.
Yeah, thanks. You too. Congrats on your win. And,
Thank you.
Your speed at the end on the soft tire was just insane.
Yeah,
How
that
did
move
you
on your
manage to-
inside, Ivan. That like it was so close that my left end plate was touching your right left.
Oh, I didn't notice that. I already thought you were going to send it into that corner, so I left you the space because there was no point fighting it.
Nah, I was just so fast at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Tire advantage, so.
I didn't expect that your softs were so fast at the end.
Had around
I thought they were quick
35%.
at the beginning of your stint, but I didn't expect that
I
the
was
tire was so fast on the last lap. I was trying to make a move, but
yeah, like I was sitting behind. I don't know if you noticed. Like I sat behind where I could have overtaken, and I gained around. I was like completely out of DRS just as you, but I gained around like 25-30% DRS, and then I had that to defend with at the very end.
I've just
yeah.
Yari had a puncture apparently, so that's why he pitted.
He got a puncture.
Yeah, I was surprised.
I did notice that his tire looked a bit funky, but I thought there was just game things making it look weird.
But his hards wasn't even that old.
He pitted at the same lap as mine.
He had incredible tire wear.
Yeah,
when he pitted to the mediums on lap 9, he already said he had over 50%.
Is he on controller or wheel? Because Pookie had significantly higher tire wear than me during our hards. Then we would constantly like feedback our wear to each other, and he was like, when I went in, I think my wear was about 13 or 14% lower than his.
That was the reason why he pitted in lap 15 and not lap 19, and I think, or not.
Yeah, I think maybe because of that, but also because he lost out of a DRS train he was in, so he just decided to pit. Like he was in a DRS train, and then he got out of the 1 second, and then he pitted.
Yeah, but due to the virtual safety car, I think that was the main decision to pit.
Yeah.
For him.
Who was it that like I was like slightly having a little battle with someone at the first virtual safety car, like who should have the position? I can't remember who it was.
Ryan, maybe?
No, Leonard. It was Leonard.
Okay, yeah,
Leonard,
but Leonard,
Leonard.
but I think now that I think back, I think Leonard was actually like ahead, but none of us could see who. None of us could see because we had like our delta was your delta was probably in the red as mine, so we couldn't see like who the game had given the position to.
I was looking at your front wing when this VSC popped up, but
Yeah, you were in front, right?
I thought I was just ahead, but
Yeah. That's what like initially I was like, no, you're not gonna get that, and then I was like in the middle of like trying to get it back. I was like, okay, maybe he was ahead, and then I ceded the place.
yeah, that was a bit weird. When I was
Yeah,
trying to figure
because
it
when it
out.
tells you to slow down because to reduce your delta, you can't see if the game is telling you like to cede the position or something. You have to wait for that like information to go away, and then you can see the other one. It's not like you can show two things at the same time.
Yeah,
So I was a bit confused.
yeah, but yeah, it was a bit confusing.
Anyways, how like talk about your strat, like thoughts in the qualifying, like your whole mindset for this race.
I wanted to start on the hard tire actually because I know that at the end the soft tire is really fast, and yeah, the hard tire is so consistent with lap time. You can drive 19 laps in the 132s high, 133s lows. So yeah, but there was also rain expected in at the end of the race, but that didn't come. But it was expected. But so I was thinking, should I go to mediums and then do a one stop for safety or hards? I wanted to change it last minute, but didn't got the time to do that. So then I was on mediums. So yeah, that was my strategy.
Interesting.
But I wanted to go hard softs because the soft tire was just so fast at the end.
Yeah, like it was like I gained so like I wasn't even using my ERS for the like at least initial 2 laps. I was just gaining so much anyway.
I was also asking Veiko with he is 6 seconds behind me now, but can he still catch me? I think he can still catch me. And Veiko says no, his tires are already overheating. They are done. But when I saw you closing in every lap with, I think it was at one point maybe a second per lap, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking, I'm fucked.
Yeah, because you kind of counted on that gap being enough in the end. I guess.
But I was still driving some good lap times.
Like,
but then I was asking Jeff about your last lap time. So you were driving 131. So
yeah,
that's a lot quicker. That's almost a second, and maybe even a second. So
someone in I think it was who was starting P3.
P3.
Bookie,
Bookie, I think. No, Hyper. You're
No,
right.
then it was P2 in P2.
Oh, I.
that was
Me.
Did you sleep on the start or what happened?
I'm just struggling real bad with my starts. But you know what's funny? In the previous race, I just found out you had clutch in F1, literally, and this was the first time I really used it, so I was struggling a bit.
Okay, because I was like on voice and I was saying to Pug like I'm alongside Faker, what the fuck? And I was on my hearts.
So you've been racing with automatic not automatic, but
without clutch the whole time.
Yeah, like you hold the button, right? Like when you want to release it.
Yeah, I just normally when I just started, I just geared up when the lights went out, and now I'm just in clutch already. It's so much faster.
I just have a button for my clutch, and then I hold that in. Then the game will automatically put me in first, and then it's just about reaction time when the lights go out.
Yeah, but that was like I already started from the neutral gear, and then geared up in when the lights went down to 1.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a bit weird. This was my first official start with glitch, so I'm still like learning with it.
Yeah. It's a learning curve.
Yeah. Oh man. I sweated so much in the last 4 laps, I think. Jesus, mate.
I think this was the race I sweated the least of the whole calendar.
Yeah, it didn't look like you had a particularly great race to me.
No, first stint I lost the DRS to the big group ahead. Aiden was defending like mad. He had like 10% after like 3 laps. So
Wow.
when I eventually got past him because he was just ERS burning, I was 1.8 behind and I couldn't catch up because the amount of time you gain with DRS is insane. I think I lost 7/10 a lap just because I wasn't in the DRS. So it was every lap just counting on hoping to close the gap, but yeah, there was not enough room to close the gap. I was losing around 1 second a lap if you count all the DRS zones, so the big back straight and the first to turn 1.
And then you drive through.
Yeah, I got a habit of getting a penalty at this track, so I was like, well, let's just take it really carefully because it's a virtual safety car. So I was like driving like 30 kilometers per hour, and it's 60 kilometers per hour, and I still get a penalty for driving too fast on the virtual safety car. So I got a drive-through penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car. So I had to go for the drive-through again. And then I just was stuck in no man's land. I tried something with the sauce, but it didn't pay off. So no points today.
I just gotta say though, like I love the teamwork of the Alfa Romeos when I was behind them, like trying to like fucking deploy everything I had to do something.
Yeah,
Like, I was just imagining in my head, like they must be going crazy in the voice to that. Do this, do that, overtake me now. Now we swap. You use yours. Do this, do that. While I was completely sweating my balls off to like try to split you guys or just like make you lose time or something.
The problem was that I had a higher wing setup, and Veiko was driving with a less downforce
What wings?
setup.
What wings?
9.7.
Okay, I was running 8.9 on my hard stand, and then when I switched to the soft, I bumped the front down to 7.
Then I had the most wings. I got a setup from someone, and it was a good. He said it was a good setup, and I was also I was
Pretty happy
driving
with
good
it.
on it. I was happy with it, but it was, I don't know exactly. It was 11.8 or something, so really high, and I was in front. Veiko was in front, and I was like, on the straight with DRS, I can overtake you, and in the corners, I'm a lot faster. But when I was in front of Veiko, then he was just gaining a lot on the straights. So
So you were forced to like keep swapping to not lose time to each other.
So I was. So we were. Maybe switch positions, and we made. I made a mistake with communication in the first corner a bit because he said. You can go now. You can overtake me. When I was going for the move, then he said, on the second straight, and then I was going for it, and then I was pushing him a bit wide, and then you were ahead of him.
There was also I think it was in turn 1 where you were in the middle of like swapping, and I totally capitalized on that and went around the outside of one of you guys.
Yeah, it was around Veiko.
It was so risky because I was like nearly like I just had my wheels on the left, but I just saw like the gap, and then I thought I don't have to overtake now. I just have to be alongside him into the next sequence of corners, because if I can get in the middle of you, then whatever swapping strat you have going on, I can completely like ruin that.
No, and it was in I think turn 3, 4, and 5. Like I was like, no, he got me, and then I let you go. Basically, I just lifted the hill. Like I just lifted
Yeah,
really
you
hard.
touched my wheel at one point, but because I could hear the for a short bit.
Yeah, and then I got Ryan Kennedy in my ass, so
Oh yeah.
it was a bit fucked at the moment. First
Was a-
land out, then
It was a
you.
great looking ass at the end.
Yeah, and then
Quite
Ryan Kennedy almost.
quite juicy.
But then on the straights, I gained 2/10 or more on the second one, I think. So I'm just climbing back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think there was also an yeah, go on.
Oh, still happy with P2, but I hope next week I will make the step to P1. But I've now.
I mean, I didn't get any points in Baku,
three-
man. I need to do something.
I've got this season 3 second places, but not P1 yet. But
Was
I think I got one P1 outside of this one, if I'm not mistaken. Might be. I think I got a P1 somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, you almost had it in Imola.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Imola, oh my god!
I think the only
Like
P1
I paid the Russian mafia permanently to be at your pit tent every week.
They're not doing a great job.
Well, they are, because it hasn't happened for 2 weeks now. Didn't happen in Baku. It didn't happen in France. So they
No,
must be doing
all
something right in the pit lane.
All right, I'm telling my Russian spy then. Rear left was it? Huh? Rear left tire. Or
I don't know. I don't know
right.
what tire it was. It felt like it was like all tires, and then you deployed some kind of mysterious oil beneath my car.
I'll just turn off the engine then.
I'm just going there, sweating my balls off, and then the engine just dies.
Exactly. 3 points.
having
Yeah.
having technical difficulties in mode without technical difficulties. What?
The worst thing that can happen to you when you play career mode is if the control electronic dies, because your car just dies, and it's like you can only retire. You can't even like go into the pits or just go slower or something. The game just automatically retires you if the control electronic goes.
That's the reason why I don't play my team or career mode.
Well, you can turn it off so you don't have these faults. You will just like wear your components completely out to 100%. But I think it's fun, like having like different kinds of like failures during the race. It adds something to it, I feel.
Yeah, but you know that the AI are just terrorists. When they see a gap, all right, I'll try it.
Yeah. And Verstappen is just massively biased and overpowered.
Yeah,
I feel like it's whoever is the
Like it
fastest
should be.
real life is 10 times faster than everyone in the game.
Like he should be.
If you go for a cap that no
because
longer
I'm Dutch.
exists.
I mean, not even in real life is Max Verstappen sitting like 3, 4, 5 seconds ahead of Lewis Hamilton, but he is in the game. When you play on 110 AI, he's just like
yeah, realistic game, right?
he could start the game. He could start the race in lap 10 and still finish ahead.
Yeah, but that's Max Verstappen. Don't you believe it?
Hello, my name is Max Verstappen.
The goat pen.
Other way around. You have to say, hello, I'm Lewis Hamilton, taking you out of the British Grand Prix.
Nee, dat was een
Dutch
yeet.
Martin. Dutch Martin.
Hier!
And they touch!
And off he goes!
It's lights out, and away he goes.
Lights out and away he goes, and immediately wins the race. I wish.
FICO, wasn't it you that tried to go out on softs in Q2?
That
It
was
was me.
Dirk.
Why?
No, I tried, mate. But
I did it as well, but
When I saw it, I was like telling Pookie, like, what are these guys doing? Like, it's raining. I have raindrops on my screen. Like, I can physically use the track as a mirror. That's how damp it is. And these guys are trying softs. Good luck.
you know what the funny part was? I just hit the pit exit and already lost my front wing. And I've already retired after turn 1.
I'm amazed there was no safety cars this race. That's pretty good compared to if you think about.
I totally disagree. This was the first race I underfueled the car because I thought, well, there's gonna be safety cars.
Wow.
And I ended up with like minus 0.7 fuel, so I ran out of fuel going into the first sector.
I think Ryan went out of fuel too. I overfueled by 1.6, which was way too much.
I think I overfueled with half a lap, I think.
I got flashbacks to last week, so I was like, well, let's underfuel the car. I never do that. And now I understand why I never do that.
Because when you underfuel the car, fate decides no safety cars.
Yeah, but this game, fate is against me. Because last season I was always top 5, and at this point I'm struggling to get into the points.
You know why?
yeah.
You sat in the Red Bull next to me.
The only reason you were competing for the title last season was because you got my setups for 80% of the races.
All right. Where am I standing in the championship? Where am I standing? And where are
Well,
you
Red
standing?
Bull is definitely going to take a beating in the constructors this week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not first, Ivan. So
But you know what happened to
Nah.
Kane? You know what happened to Kane, Hyper?
No, all I
Isn't
know
he-
is he didn't race today.
Yeah, he's in the hospital because he
It-
broke several ribs
What happened to him?
playing. What's
Rugby.
it called in English?
American
Rugby.
football.
Not
American
rugby.
football, I think.
Not rugby.
American football. That's what you call it.
Ah,
My God.
And
some fat dude ran into him really fast.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think so.
okay.
But he told me he could race next week probably. But let's hope so.
Imagine
Otherwise,
guy
it was
turning up
dangerous.
with broken ribs and just killing it.
Literally or virtually.
what's the next race actually?
Austria.
Austria.
Oh yeah.
So you have to perform well there, Red Bull team.
No,
Oh,
Ah, you
I'm
gotta
in the
love it.
Ferrari right now, so I got every.
I think I'm fucked.
Oh, it's
That's
all
absolutely not
Leonard.
my track.
Austria. Inverted lap times?
I feel
Yeah,
like
that
the
will be a lot.
Ferrari.
Oh,
What lap
yeah,
times are
from
you
last
doing
year.
in Austria time trial?
Absolute shit.
You know what
track.
my biggest problem is? I feel like this Ferrari drives very different to the Red Bull I was driving last season, and I know they should be the same because it's equal performance, but they aren't.
yeah, there are very slight differences between the
Yeah,
cars. Maybe
yeah, it's
the wheelbase, I think.
yeah, the
I don't
wheelbase.
think so, because Yari wasn't a Haas.
Yeah, but
Won't won.
yeah, but it's not. It's not like the Haas is the slowest. It's they made a certain kind of values for how much grip and what the top speed is, and that kind of stuff for the equal performance.
Yeah, but you know.
But there's a different wheelbase, so the car reacts different to the track because the tires on the Ferrari are much further out from each other than the Red Bull, so it's more difficult to drive. The Red Bull is actually the most easiest to drive over curbs and such.
That's why I almost spin every time.
Yeah, but that's just a lack of skill.
I have to go, by the way. I will see you guys next week, I think.
Yeah,
But
What
Good,
see you
good
later,
team.
man.
good
See you
teamwork, and yeah, see you later.
Yeah, GG.
What lap times are you doing on time trial Austria?
Mate, we just had France. I haven't rode a single lap
It's a
here.
bit too early to talk about Austria.
Mate, my only practice for this race was yesterday for an hour or something like
I
that.
didn't do anything. I just did a few 5 laps with Pookie. That's it.
I'm so fucking busy in real life. I cannot even imagine how I can practice several lobbies with a 50% race. I did before last season, but I can't imagine how I'm gonna do it right now because.
Well, let's do a 50% race on Austria right now. Let's go.
No. I'm done. I'm done.
But I was
I'm
thinking,
gonna-
because we are practicing sometimes on Sunday evening,
Mhm.
maybe we could make a sort of social race or something, or practice race or something.
Oh, where did you get
Maybe
that idea?
for every maybe every Sunday evening to practice together or something. I was thinking about that.
Oh,
A
we
few
can
I mean,
days
I
ago.
can. I mean, if that's gonna be a thing, I can do on Sunday evening. I just can't on Sunday afternoons because I have a league race there.
You know,
Just-
we can't race on Sundays for the upcoming next weeks because real life F1 is starting again.
Yeah, okay, but
That's not
yeah,
exactly
maybe something after or before. Or I don't know.
just ping the drivers in the social chat if it need to be.
But it doesn't need to be every week. At Sunday. Maybe sometimes when it is possible or something that we are going to practice together.
Yeah. I mean, I'm up if the time fits me. I'm always up for some racing. I'm always
up
down
the
to.
gym.
But I'm gonna dip off now. I'm probably gonna chill a bit and then relax and watch the stream back.
All right.
Yes, I
wish
will
you a
also
great evening, man.
watch it back. I think.
I haven't even saved my race replay. That's how desperate I don't want to see this race again.
There was actually also one time, Leonard, where I tried to make a move in turn one, but then
Yeah.
the way you guys positioned yourself, I thought, okay, they are talking on Discord. They are saying, if you stay in front of Min, I will go on his left, and then we box him in the corners. That was what I was thinking because I couldn't do it. Like I didn't get shit done. I had to back out because I couldn't go anywhere. I just had to do what you guys told me. Basically,
Yeah, they were like real sweats.
We didn't discuss about positioning before the corner when someone is attacking us, but
you did.
No, we didn't.
No, you okay?
It was just, I think, own defense or something.
Yeah, like it was pretty good because I was trying to go around the outside, and then I was just like boxed in at that curb, so I had to follow. I couldn't go on the inside, and I couldn't go around the outside because there was I just couldn't do anything. That was pretty good.
You know what's the most sweat part about Lennart and Fico? Normally we're in a call with both Red Bulls, both
But they go into their
Ferraris.
private call for the race.
Yeah, they did go into a private call this race.
But
I mean, me and
we
Ruby was talking to Ryan for the whole race.
Done. We are never in call with Red Bull guys because when Kane is here, then they are going in private call. So
yeah, and I always end up alone.
You can join.
Yeah,
us
you got Dirk.
Yeah, but Dirk wasn't there last week.
You can join us.
What happened to Dirk today? Why did he crash?
He spun.
He spun twice.
Oh.
He spun going onto the straight.
I'm heading out, guys.
Straight.
See you next week.
See you next week.
See you next week. Bye.
He spun there, so he had damage. Then he, after the big chicane in the middle of the straight, he lost it on the curb on the left and then hit the wall and lost the wheel.
But
it
was a bit it was a bit bussy in sim races, Carl. So
yeah, well, actually, when you guys
going...
left, Dirk left very soon because he DNF'd. Yari was muted.
It was really quiet during the race.
Sander was just focusing on not getting penalties while getting penalties.
Oh, did he disqualify him too much penalties or something?
At one point, I was asking him if he was impersonating me because he was, well, I get a lot of penalties, but he was at some point at 24 seconds of penalties.
Jesus.
He was like, I didn't receive this one.
He was like at 9 seconds. I was like, if you could get 2 more penalties, please, then I'm within your 15 seconds. And like 3 laps later, he was like, well, here's your 15 seconds.
Well, it's been great talking to you guys. And
yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Wish you a great evening.
Yep.
Great evening. Thanks for the
stream. And I'll see you guys next week.
Maybe. Next week.
Yes, in Austria.
In Austria.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Good evening.
Goodbye, good evening, and good night. And so, that is the end of the stream, everyone. Lasted a bit longer than I thought it would. After that, the post-race interviews turned into more of a post-race podcast. Yeah, thank you for watching, guys. Next week we race in Austria. Thank you for watching, and good